All right, welcome to the 2023 Roland Garros Draw Breakdown Show presented by The Slice. Welcome to the show. We've got the men's and women's draws out now, and we're going to break them down on this show. Right off the top, the big news, Carlitos Alcaraz and Djokovic and Tsitsipas on the same half of the draw. The top half is absolutely stacked for the men, so there's a huge opportunity for the players on the bottom half. So we're going to look at the draws, the routes to the final for the big favorites like Alcaraz and Djokovic, where they could potentially meet in the semifinals. And yeah, we're just going to go quarter by quarter, like we always do, break it down, see who the draw horses or dark horses are, and see who's got big opportunities to do something special. It's a special time of the year. Thanks for being here. So let's get in to the draw. Without further ado, welcome to the show. All right, we are here, and I've got the full breakdown, my notes here. I'm wearing the hat because it's bedhead time because we're up early to catch this draw as soon as it comes out. And yeah, what else can you do? We're dedicated. You got to do it. You got to be here on top of it. And we are. So yeah, welcome to the show. If you have not yet subscribed, welcome to the Slice if you're brand new here. This is where we give you behind the scenes look at the ATP and WTA tours and give you breaking news, reactions, analysis. And I guess this is a reaction to the draw. So first of all, shout out to our sponsor, CoolBet. Stay cool, bet responsibly. If you're going to bet on the tennis this year at the French Open, click the link below to sign up for a double your deposit bonus. And let's take a look at the odds quickly. Tournament outright winners for the women to start. Swiatek, no doubt, on the top, 2-1 odds. Pretty interesting, though. You get right away into some pretty heavy odds for Sabalenka, who's the only major winner of 2023. 5-1. 9-1 for Rybakina. And then it gets pretty crazy after that. But that's pretty interesting to me there at the top. So I'd take a look at that. And then on the men, it gets even more interesting. Carlos Alcaraz, 2.5-1 to win. Djokovic, 3.2. Now, if you remember, back, I think, 2021, when Djokovic was on his run, his odds to win were less than 2. It was almost, there was no value in it at all. So Djokovic there and Alcaraz on the same half. You could more than 3 times your money betting on Djokovic to win a major, which seems like a lot of value for a guy who's won 22 of them. 2 French Opens, 22 majors total. I mean, just take a look at that. I take a look at that. So shout out to CoolBet. So let's get into the draw without further ado. Let's just break down the top 8 seeds where they find themselves on the board. So I'll show you on my board here. That's probably the easiest thing to do. So we got Alcaraz and Tsitsipas potentially playing in the quarterfinals on the very top quarter. They're both in the top corner. Tsitsipas finds himself in the Alcaraz quarter, which is crazy because, I think a lot of people's draws, Tsitsipas or Alcaraz, Djokovic, Tsitsipas are the top 3 favorites. A lot of people, though, aren't saying Tsitsipas has a real chance to win this. And maybe that's fair because he lost to Medvedev in Rome, but I think you just got to keep respect on Tsitsipas's name on the clay over 5 sets. But I understand the doubt. But that's pretty big news in my opinion. Alcaraz, Tsitsipas in the same quarter. And then we got Djokovic, Rublev potentially playing in the quarterfinals as well. Rublev was pretty high up there in my power rankings. I think I had him 5th. So dense there. And then we got Rune Ruud Classic, just another classic. They just played in Rome. They had the spicy encounter last year at the French Open, playing 6 and 4 on the bottom half, and then Sinner and Medvedev to round it out. So yeah, as I said, top half has three of the top 4 potentials, in my opinion, to win, and 4 of the top 5 are all in the top half. So that's pretty crazy, isn't it? Pretty crazy. So Before we get into the routes to the final, players who are going to make it to the final need to be feeling strong and good, and they're going to need good nutrition. So shout out to our new sponsor, AG1, the official nutritional drink of the Slice. Now, as you notice, I've got some of their packaging here, and I've got the actual AG1 drink, which is an easy daily habit that you can start to get your foundational nutrition every day. So we all need nutrients and healthy things in our body to run like a peak athlete, maybe like someone like Holger Rune or Novak Djokovic. But you really can't do that if you're not getting the nutrients you need. So AG1 makes it easy to do that. You can have a drink, take it, drink it every morning, and it's just an easy habit to get into to get your baseline nutrition. And for you, the Slice community, if you click the link below and you sign up, you get free vitamin dropper on your first purchase and 5 free travel packs just because you guys are the best fans in the world. So shout out to AG1, making it easy for me to be a peak athlete. So thanks for supporting us by clicking the links below and checking out that offer. Now, let's get into Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic's routes to the final. They're a big deal. And from first look, in my opinion, it is Djokovic who has an easier route to the semifinals, I guess, than Alcaraz does. Alcaraz actually has a pretty sticky route. And I'm just going to read it out to you here. But in the first round, Alcaraz is going to play a qualifier. Then he'll either play O'Connell or Taro Daniels. They're not too difficult there. But in the third round, he could play Shapo. Denis Shapovalov, the Canadian brother, friend of the show. That's a spicy third round matchup, isn't it? If Shapo gets there, wins 2 matches, and he's feeling good, he's a super athlete. Shapovalov might be one of the only guys on tours who can say, I'm just as good of an athlete as Carlitos Alcaraz. So that could be a tough match for Carlos in the third round. And then in the fourth round, he's got either Musetti or Cam Norrie. Cam Norrie's already beat him this year on clay. Musetti's also a great athlete. So yeah, very potentially dangerous fourth round there as well for Carlos. And then in the quarterfinals, he's got either Stefanos Tsitsipas, former runner-up at the French Open, or Felix Auger-Aliassime, another Canadian, in the quarterfinals. So that, in my opinion, let's just say it's Shapo, Musetti, Stefanos. That's a tough 3 matches in a row, but no guarantees by any means. It is a major. It's always going to be tough, but for the number 1 seed, that's pretty tough in my opinion. And then he would obviously play probably Djokovic in the semifinal, and then either Rune, Ruud, or Medvedev or Sinner in the final, or anyone else from the bottom half. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think about Alcaraz's route to the final? I think that's pretty tricky. Now let's look at Djokovic's as well. I've got them all here. I know you guys can look at it, follow along with the draw. But Djokovic has got in the first round Kovacevic from the U.S. Second round, probably Martin Fucsovics. Great athlete, but historically just has not really posed any issue to Djokovic. In the third round, Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, who has beat Djokovic on clay before. But we'll see. But yeah, if Djokovic is not feeling great, if the elbow's bugging him, that could turn into a dogfight. So that's tough. In the fourth round, RBA or Hurkacz. Both those guys can play well. It doesn't feel like RBA has the physicality anymore to hang with Djokovic. Hurkacz could, but I haven't seen enough from him lately to really believe that he can or will. And then he'd be into the quarterfinals to play either Karen Khachanov or Andrei Rublev. He's got 2 Ruskis in the quarterfinals. And then he's either got Stefanos or Alcaraz in the semis, and so on and so forth. But comparing those, it looks to me like, what do you guys think? I think Djokovic has got a slightly easier route to the final, just based on the fact in the third round, he's got ADF instead of Shapo. I mean, ADF could be better than Shapo right now. Who knows? But the fourth round, I think Musetti, Norrie for Alcaraz is tougher than RBA, Hurkacz, just a little bit. So slightly tougher draw for Alcaraz over Djokovic, I think, but it's not a huge difference. Both of them are my favorites to make the semifinal. But really, the quarterfinal is also much tougher for Alcaraz, I think, than Djokovic. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about that? So if we're looking at it, who's going to be fresher if it came to a semifinal matchup between Alcaraz and Djokovic, potentially Djokovic, the number 3 seed. That's why the seeding makes so much of a difference. We saw with Medvedev winning Rome and Carlitos showing up to Rome, we saw Medvedev catapult into the number 2 seed. So now he gets to be, Medvedev gets to be on the bottom half all by himself. So that's crazy. So let's take a look at, why don't we present it? Well, let's take a look at Daniil Medvedev's route to the final. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom here. He'll play qualifier in the first round, and then he will play either Quentin Hattie or Guido Pella in the second round. And then in the third round, he's got Nishioka, Jordan Thompson, or JJ Wolf. Honestly, Medvedev in there is looking good. He's looking good to get through the first round, second round, and third round, getting into the fourth round, which is where I think he was last year. Borna Coric or Alex de Minaur or Dominic Thiem in there. Borna Coric obviously playing great tennis right now, so he could be a danger match for him. But, I mean, it's crazy to say this, but Medvedev just won Rome. Like, he just won Rome. So you got to have confidence right now in him on the clay. So I've got confidence on him making it through the fourth round into the quarterfinals here. And then in the quarterfinals, he could either play Jannik Sinner or Francis Tiafoe or Zverev or Dimitrov. I think Sinner on clay is going to be tough for Medvedev. But again, he just won Rome. So he can beat anyone. He just beat Stefanos Tsitsipas and Holger Rune. This is 5 sets. Daniil Medvedev has also won a major. So he's played well in the 5-set format, more so than Sinner or any of these other guys. So if he was to get through Sinner in the quarterfinals, he could then play Holger Rune, who he just beat, or Casper Ruud, who's great on clay, obviously, or Tommy Paul potentially, or Taylor Fritz. But yeah, big opportunity on the bottom there for Clay Videv, as they are calling him, isn't it? It's just a big opportunity for potentially the new Prince of Clay. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let's go through it a little bit more quarter by quarter. I guess we kind of just did that on the bottom half, but let's go to the top. So let's take a look at the Carlos Alcaraz quarter, which, like we said, has Stefanos Tsitsipas, Carlos Alcaraz bookending it. Who are the other top seeds? Felix Auger-Aliassime is in the Stefanos Tsitsipas 8th, and Cam Norrie is in the Alcaraz 8th, along with Musetti and Shapovalov. Just a high level of young talent there in the Alcaraz quarter, or 8th. In the Stefanos 8th, we've got Zapata Morales, a little bit less talent, I would say, but then you got obviously Felix Auger-Aliassime as the number 10 seed, which is could be a very dangerous match for Tsitsipas. A lot of people were saying it was crazy that I put Felix in my top 10 power rankings, but based on what he did last year, I have belief in him. He's got Tony Nadal in his camp. No Nadal here, so no conflict of interest there. I think Tony Nadal and him are able to do something different on the grounds of Roland Garros. I saw it live last year, and it was impressive. It was very impressive. So yeah, my dark horse in that quarter, maybe Lorenzo Musetti. I think, let me just look it up. When did Musetti beat Alcaraz? Because I know he has. Yeah, they're 1-0. Musetti's beat him the only time that they played, and that was on the Pro Tour. That was in Hamburg in the final, if you remember. So Musetti does have that confidence in him that he can beat the top dog, Carlitos Alcaraz. So yeah, I would say Musetti's my dark horse to come out of that quarter. Obviously, my favorite is Carlos Alcaraz. And then you get Stefanos Tsitsipas. That's just tough. All right, now let's look at the Djokovic quarter here, which is bookended by Rublev, the number 7 seed. You've got Thanasi Kokkinakis in there. You've got Dan Evans, Ben Shelton, who hasn't been doing well on the clay, really, let's be honest. A lot of points there from the Australian Open, obviously. You've got Davidovich Fokina and Roberto Bautista Agut. So not the most dangerous. Oh, you got Stan Wawrinka in there. So be careful. You never know. He could come out of this bottom 8th and play Djokovic in the quarterfinals. Wouldn't that be something? Maybe he'd have to go digging into his closet to get those shorts from the 2015 French Open that he used to cast a spell over Novak Djokovic. He might have to do that again if they were to play in the quarterfinals. Wouldn't that be crazy? Yeah, so Djokovic, obviously my big favorite to come out of that quarter. Maybe Stan Wawrinka, who just beat Andy Murray 6-3, 6-0 in a qualifier or a challenger match. Pretty interesting there. Third quarter, Holger Rune's quarter. We've got him, and we've got it bookended by Casper Ruud. So we got the fourth seed. Sorry, it's Casper Ruud's quarter. No respect to Casper, friend of the show. And Holger. Who else have we got in there? We got Taylor Fritz, the ninth seed. We've got Tommy Paul in there. We've got Cerundolo, Francisco Cerundolo, Van de Sandschulp. So lots of talent in this quarter as well, of course. Holger Rune, he could play, or he's going to play Eubanks first, and then either Monfils, French favorite, or Sebastian Baez. Kecmanovic is there, who doesn't seem to ever be playing well now and just holds on to his ranking somehow. So that's an interesting quarter as well. I would love to see another matchup, Holger Rune in the quarterfinals there. Wouldn't that be a battle? And then going down to the bottom corner, which is Medvedev's corner with Sinner bookending it. Lots of interest here. Zverev, 22 seed. Dimitrov, 28 seed. Lloyd Harris, remember him? Back in the draw. Francis Tiafoe, 12 seed. Borna Coric, 15 seed. Dominic Thiem, direct entry. Let's go. People were asking, how far can Dominic Thiem go? It's draw dependent. So he's got Pedro Cachin first round. That's a decent draw for him. He can win that match, obviously. And then he'll probably play Borna Coric in the second round. That's got to be winnable for him. That's going to be a tough match, though. If he could get through that, then he's really got an opportunity, if you think about it. Because if he beats Coric, and then he might have to play De Minaur, he could beat De Minaur. Maybe that's also very tough. But, I mean, it could be worse. I'm just saying it could be worse. And then he would have to play Medvedev, who, is brand new with success on clay. Both U.S. Open champions. You never know. So I think Dominic Thiem does have a slightly favorable draw, if you think about it. So big if true, I would say. So yeah, that's my kind of breakdown of the draw. What do you guys think of the men's draw? Like I said, my initial thoughts: Alcaraz, number 1 seed on the top, Djokovic on his half, Tsitsipas also there in the Alcaraz quarter. That's pretty crazy to me. So only one of Alcaraz or Djokovic could make the final. One of them will lose before the final. It's always crazy to think about when the top two contenders are in the same half. One of them will not make the final, and that's pretty crazy. So yeah, that's the story of the men's draw. Let's look at the women's draw now. I'm just going to pull it up here. We've got, before we present that, we've got a look at the potential quarterfinalists over here. Swiatek, Goff, Rybakina, Jabeur, Sakari, Pegula, Garcia, Sabalenka. I think that's a well spread out draw of the top talent. Rybakina and Swiatek on the top half. That's big. Potentially could meet in the semifinals. And then we got Sabalenka on the bottom with Garcia in her quarter. So are we going to see Sabalenka and Swiatek meet? That would be the dream, wouldn't it, in the final? They're putting together quite the head-to-head rivalry. Right now, Iga Swiatek leads at 3-5. Obviously, the last time they played, Sabalenka won in Madrid. Time before that, Swiatek won 6-3, 6-4. WTA Finals, Sabalenka won. Before that, it was kind of all Swiatek, but in the last 2 of the last 3 matches, Sabalenka has come out on top. So is that what we're seeing as a potential final there? Well, it depends. We'll see how Swiatek is physically. Obviously, had to pull out in Rome due to injury, so we'll see how she's feeling. She could play Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals. Rybakina could play Ons Jabeur. We'll see how Rybakina can get her, if she can get momentum and her feeling going on the clay in Paris. Sakkari versus Pegula, their wide open quarter. That's intense. Let's take a deeper look at the draw now. From the top, Swiatek quarter with the Rybakina, with Coco Gauff bookending it. We've got Buskova in there, Azarenka in there, Krejcikova in there, Kudermetova in there, Madison Keys. Talent heavy top quarter, obviously, I would say. Wow. Coco Gauff ending it off. Runner up last year, obviously, in the Roland Garros. We got the champion and the Roland Garros runner up in the same quarter in the women's top quarter. That's controversial. Then we got in the next quarter, Rybakina's quarter with Ons Jabeur bookending it. We've got Shelby Rogers, Alexandrova, Haddad Maya, Kvitova, Vekic, Kristia in it. Not too much there for me. I definitely expect Rybakina to come out of that, or at least have a good match with Jabeur in the quarterfinals. That's a good looking clash that we would all love to see. I'm looking now for the Canadians, where we're trying to see where the Canadians are at. We've got Leila Fernandez there in the third quarter with Sakkari and Pegula. Who else is in there? We got Mertens, Potapova, Samsonova, Bencic. Fernandez no longer seeded. She's actually going to play Magda Linette in the first round. Poland, wow. The Australian Open superstar. That's big. That's big. Wow. Look at that, hey? So, yeah, that's a pretty talent-packed third quarter as well. And then we got Sabalenka's quarter, number 2 seed, bookended with Caroline Garcia. They have Trevisan in there, Ostapenko in there, Kasatkina, Pliskova, Zhang. Where is now? I'm looking for our girl, Canadian Bianca Andreescu. Let me just look this up. She plays Victoria Azarenka in the first round. Wow. What a matchup. Where is that? That's right. Right off the top. Bianca Andreescu, Victoria Azarenka. Major championship matchup in the first round. You gotta love it. That's a big, tough match, though, for Bianca. And we will see if she can pull it out. Because if she can, then she would have to play potentially Krejcikova in the third round. So really a tough draw for Bianca Andreescu, and a tough draw for Leila Fernandez to play Magda Linette and then Belinda Bencic in the third round if she was to get there. So yeah, that's a look at the women's draw and the men's draw at Roland Garros 2023. That's a breakdown. Prediction time. Why do we do this to ourselves? Alcaraz, Djokovic, Tsitsipas. I've got a feeling that Carlos Alcaraz is going to be standing at the top of the podium on the final Sunday of Roland Garros. I mean, just if we're talking about gas in the tank, I think Alcaraz has more of it than Djokovic does. I think he's got it. It seems like his time on clay. Djokovic has looked less good on clay so far. Obviously, this clay swing hasn't won a tournament. There's injury concerns. There's pressure on him to get 23. Nadal's not here. And I just think Carlos doesn't have that pressure on him as much anymore. He's already won a slam. He is the number 1 seed, which is pressure for him, but he's used to playing with that now, I think. But we'll see. I'm just hoping for a semifinals matchup between those two guys, because that would just be the matchup we've finally been waiting for. 2023, no matches played between them. They've barely even been in the same tournament. So my prediction, though, is Carlos Alcaraz to win his second major at the French Open, solidify himself as the #1 player in the world. That's just my prediction. I think it's fairly safe. What do you think? Leave your predictions below. And for the women, I like Sabalenka again. I like how Sabalenka's playing. I think she's going to be able to do it again. She's so strong. Is she going to win the first 2 majors in the year? Why not? Why not? So those are my predictions. Carlos Alcaraz and Arina Sabalenka to win Roland Garros 2023. That's a breakdown. That's a preview. That's what we got. Thank you for supporting us by supporting the sponsors. Coolbet, the official sportsbook of The Slice, and AG1, the official nutritional drink of The Slice. Shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to the fans. Thanks for being here. Subscribe if you haven't, and may the best players win. Good luck, and I can't wait to get this going. It's going to be awesome. We'll see.